What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative. Today I am here to tell you about all of the books I get to read in the month of April. First up is The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. This is the Wine and Crime Book Club's pick for the month of April. The Wine and Crime Book Club is a book club that I just started. This is literally going to be the first month that it happens, the first pick. If you would like to join us, go down in the description box below. There's a link to the Discord. I've already got channels set up. I am going to do a live show at the end of the month. I forgot the date. I'm sorry, I did not do my homework, but it is the last Saturday in April at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm very excited. This is about a girl who runs a crime blog in her spare time, and she is speaking with a woman who was convicted of a double murder back in 1977. So she's getting a chance to do an interview. So our main character goes to meet with this woman, and there's a lot of odd things about the house. So there seems to be a hint of supernatural in there too, which I am all for. So very excited for this one. I am probably gonna start that one day one because I am that excited for it. It's also my first Simone St. James. I do have Sundown Motel back here on the shelves that my friend Ev sent to me. So if I love this one, that's gonna be my next pick by her. NetGalley hooked me up with an approval for Alma Katsu's The Fervor. This is a psychological and supernatural twist on the horrors that were found in the Japanese American internment camps during World War II. I've not read anything by Alma Katsu. From the reviews I've read on her other works and just things I've seen from other reviewers, she seems to be an author that horror lovers really enjoy, so I'm excited to see what I think about her. The self-published book that I picked to read and review this month is R.E. Palmer's Song of Echoes. It is the first book in the new epic fantasy by this author, and I cannot wait to read it. From what I remember of reading the description, its tropes of politics, magic, myths, and legend sort of had that same feel, similar to that of the Sword of Shannara, where there is this great evil that is awakening and we must go and take care of it sort of thing. I love that stuff. I will eat it up. I don't care how many times an author will write an epic fantasy along those lines. I looked at some of the community reviews that were already up about this one, and people were posting things like, I did not expect to love this, and it ended up being a 5-star. I'm excited to read it and discover it for myself. Of course, I'll be sharing that with you, but the cover is absolutely gorgeous. And yes, that is a huge reason why I wanted to read this one. The channel read-along of the Boatmore Butcher trilogy is going to continue this month with book 2, The Boatmore Butcher. And if you've read The Goners and you're interested in joining us for The Boatmore Butcher, don't forget, the link to the Discord is in the description down below. I cannot wait for us to read the second book together. Everyone really enjoyed rereading The Goners last month, or those that read it for the first time really enjoyed it. Everyone's really excited to get started on book 2, and I cannot wait to experience that with everybody. This is a trilogy that is about the Boatmore Butcher. On the island of Boatmore, people died for 2 reasons: an accident or natural causes, until the Boatmore Butcher. And I am telling you, this is a serial killer story that is adrenaline inducing. You are not going to have your heart rate at a resting cadence the whole time. I cannot wait to see what is in store for all of us in the continuation, The Boatmore Butcher. I think the only other book that I am planning to read this month that I don't have a physical copy of yet is The High King's Tomb, which is book 3 in Kristen Britton's Green Rider series. This is a read-along that is hosted by the channel Feeny Reads. I'm gonna have all of her information linked down below if you want to join us. This is book 3. They do read really quickly, and they're kind of pausing the month of April to let those of us catch up that fell behind. So that information will be down in the description box below if you want to check that out. If you've read the series before and you want to join us for a reread, or if you just want to join us to discuss the book as the rest of us read it for the first time. Okay, let's talk about The Wolf of Oren-Yaro by K.S. Veloso. What is the name of this series? Chronicles of the Bitch Queen. How could I not love that? I mean, come on. That is an amazing title for a series. I am excited. These covers are just absolutely stunning. I've seen the next one already too, because Josephine from Feeney Reads, I was just talking about her with the Green Rider series. She recently read this book and she loved it so much that she was almost done with the second book by the time she updated on her channel about the first one. So when I spun the wheel to see which of my patrons was going to pick something for me to read in April, the wheel chose Josephine and she chose this book. I could not be more excited. This book has been on my TBR for a very, very long time. I have seen so many reviews on both sides of the spectrum that I cannot wait to see what I'm gonna think. But I love this tagline. They called me the bitch queen, the she-wolf, because I murdered a man and exiled my king the night before they crowned me. Like, that just sounds like it's gonna be a whole lot of butt whooping going on. I will be rereading Shauna Maguire's Middle Game because Seasonal Fears, the sequel, comes out in May. This one I did not think I was gonna like. I would definitely call this a thriller more than science fiction, although there is a lot of sciencey stuff in it. I am not really doing well describing this book. It's a story about twins, and they are separated. They don't know that they're twins. But you know how you always read about twins having that bond where they can communicate with each other? Well, that is explored in a completely different way in this story, and I love that. That's what kept me glued to the pages the first time I read this, was the story about the twins, Roger and Dodger. Well, that's what initially glued me to the pages. But what was going on around them, their story, and how it was they were separated and all of that, that had me by the end. It was a fascinating story. I can't wait to reread it. I will also be continuing my journey through Richard Chizmar and Stephen King's The Button Box series. This is book 2, Gwendy's Magic Feather by Richard Chizmar. The first book was middle of the road for me. I am suspecting that the trilogy really can't be rated by each book. You really need to look at it as all 3 books together. I started it because the rumor has it that the third and final book is a tie-in to The Dark Tower, but the truth is the first book is as well. So I'm excited to continue the story. There were so many interesting things introduced in book 1 that I'm looking forward to maybe learning more about the button box itself. I want to know more about what it does. Book 1, we didn't learn a whole lot. We learned a couple of things. I'm hoping that gets explored more in this one. So I am excited to see what Richard Chizmar is going to do to further the story. Let's talk about Mistborn. I am finally going to be starting The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. When I heard that Era 2 was going to get book 4 released this year, I decided to kind of spread the books out so I could read one a month leading up to that. I've never read this series. I met Brandon Sanderson with Warbreaker and Stormlight Archives, which may have been a mistake. If anyone ever asked me where to start with Sanderson, I'm going to say Elantris. When I went to start at the beginning of the Cosmere, I did not get on well with Elantris, and it caused me to break up with Brandon for like a year. I didn't read anything over a year. Recently I read The Hope of Elantris and The Emperor's Soul. They were amazing. I loved those 2 short stories. So now I'm excited to get back to old Brando. And of course, his new secret novels that are going to be coming out as well. So I'm excited to get back to him, see what I think about Mistborn. So many folks, this is where they start with him and they love it. We're going to find out what I think very soon. Oh man, here's another highly anticipated series for me, The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I'm going to be buddy reading this with my friend Penny. We've had this plan for a very long time. I cannot wait. So many of you guys that watch, so many folks in my Discord read and loved this series. The books are so beautiful. I mean, even if I hated this book, I would keep it because I love to look at it. It is just stunning. The covers are just beautiful, but I have a really good feeling I'm gonna love it. So I'm very excited to get into this series. I don't even remember what it's about. At one time when I bought it and decided I wanted to read it, I heard what it was about, but that's been so long ago I have quite forgotten. You know, I like going into books blind. And here I have this month, this is an unofficial read along that She Was Only Evie and I are doing. We read Zora Neale Hurston and Stephen Graham Jones, usually alternating months. We've been doing this since last year. It's still ongoing. I have channels on my Discord for Zora Neale Hurston. All of the channels for Stephen Graham Jones are on Evie's server. Link in the description box down below. But this month's Zora Neale Hurston read is Seraph on the Swanee. This one is a story of two people at once deeply in love and deeply at odds, set among the community of Florida crackers at the turn of the 20th century. Full of insights into the nature of love, attraction, faith, and loyalty, it follows young Arve Henson, convinced she will never find true happiness as she defends herself from unwanted suitors with historical fits and religious fervor. Oh my gosh, I think this one's going to be a really enjoyable read. I cannot wait. Absolutely cannot wait. I love Zora, y'all. I'm also still working through her nonfiction essays. All of my short stories and essays I talk about in my Saturday video, which you can catch. And then the final book that I am hoping to read in the month of April, this will be a buddy read with my little booktube bro, Andrew's Wizardly Reads. I got him started on the Lotlands. I timed reading the first two in this trilogy, so I'd be ready to read book 3 when it came out. And then just stuff happened. I don't even remember now. I've had this one since it came out. I just didn't get to it. Y'all know how it is. Bookworms are so excited to pre-order a book, get it on their shelves, and then they read it 3 years later. It hasn't been that long. It came out in September of last year. It's fine though, it's fine. But this will be the conclusion of the Lotlands. This is a story about half-orcs. Think Sons of Anarchy. Throw wizards in the mix. I'm excited to see how this one's gonna end. I really loved the second book. Andrew didn't care for the second book as much as I did. I really appreciated the focus being on the particular character that it was and how that all got developed. I thought it was fantastic. Can't wait to see what Andrew and I are going to think about the conclusion of this trilogy by Jonathan French. Guys, that is going to do it for the month of April. I have quite the stack. I am going to have a lot of help from my library with audiobooks just while I'm continuing to help take care of Chris to get him well. I'm able to do a lot more audiobooking than physical reading, so I won't get to do as much immersion reading as I normally do. That's okay. I'm still gonna get to read. It doesn't matter if I'm reading it physically or if I'm listening to it. The fact is, I'm gonna get to still continue to do my favorite hobby in this entire world, which is to read books and then talk about it with you guys. Thank you so very much for watching today. If any of these books I mentioned are your favorites, let me know in those comments down below. If there's some you read that did not work for you, I want to hear that feedback too. I enjoy talking about it, what you liked, what you didn't like, what worked, what do you think could have changed, all of that. I enjoy discussing books. Friends, I'm going to leave you with that today. Have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one.